Hi, I'm Nathan Tyler, and I'll be your host for today's episode of OH-Brew. Right now, we're at 5 Barrel Bullet Brewing Company, so let's go take a look on the side. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of OH-Brew, where we're in search of Ohio's finest beers. On today's episode, we are here in New Philadelphia, Ohio at 5 Barrel Bullet with the owners, Mike Steffen and Justin Dumermuth. So tell us how you guys got started with brewing. Is it start younger or you kind of just got into it?
We were well into our 30s right before we started getting into it and noticed the craft beer scene kind of exploding and liked all the beers and decided to give homebrewing a shot. So
just kind of came out of a love for the craft brew and being bored, really. I mean,
yeah.
Just
so kind of
Fridays and Saturdays, nothing to do. Let's all get together in the garage and whip up something, and see how it comes out.
So it kind of started like a hobby and just grew into something bigger.
Absolutely. It was a pretty big hobby too. It took up quite a bit of our lives once we actually got into it. So.
Yeah. So how long did it take for you guys to realize, like, we got something pretty good here where we can make a decent living off of it?
It was probably
whenever we were home brewing, we didn't really have too many, bad ones. But as far as actually making it all come to fruition for a living, I don't know. I don't know if we've determined that yet.
Yeah, we're still working on that. I think when we thought we could go bigger with this was when we entered into a few homebrew competitions and started getting some recognition.
So you guys got some awards and all kinds of stuff?
Yeah, just little competitions here and there and whatnot. So
cool.
We knew we didn't make a bad beer at that point, so
all the friends and family seemed to dig it, so
started looking at plans, how do we even begin this adventure, and from there it just kind of snowballed and took off. So.
Nice. Cool. So what kind of goes into making a beer for people that really don't know what makes a good beer?
Probably just making sure it's well balanced, I'd say.
Nice and smooth?
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I guess it would come down to what your preferences are, really.
Right. Well, I'm a huge IPA guy. I love IPAs.
As am I, yes.
Good man.
Yeah. I like my IPAs. The bitter, the better.
Right.
It's basically just listening to people and seeing what they want. And, you have to go with what the masses want for the most part.
Right.
So we could be wanting to do some crazy beer, and if you don't think other people are going to like it, then you obviously can't make it at this sort of scale.
Yeah. So did you guys kind of start making beers that you guys liked, or something else?
I think we definitely started with what we liked. Obviously, with some easier recipes at first whenever we were home brewing.
Yeah. Tried to make it more of to begin with, a more balanced menu. Things, classic styles, things you're going to see at every brewery, so that you come here and you kind of know that there's something you're going to like, but there might also be something that you never had or tried before that you might not end up liking.
We didn't go with a lot of the, I don't know how to really explain it, but all the flavored beers and fruited beers and stuff like that. We didn't always tried to nail down a base beer at first.
Yeah.
And, knowing that if we start there, we can pretty much, add and subtract where we need it and know it'll still come out solid.
Okay.
Yep. The further we go, though, you realize a lot of people like the fruited, the spiced.
It really
just
is.
something to make it a little bit different.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think everybody sees that everywhere. It's the trend where everything's going with all your fruited IPAs now, milkshake IPAs, the sours are below,
Right.
Just it's become more than beer now,
Right. So with your name, 5 Barrel Bullet, is there a story behind that at all, or how did the name come about?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah.
I tell it so often.
Right.
It's actually not a very interesting story, but it was the nickname we had for our homebrew system.
Okay.
We called it the Bullet. We used old Sankey kegs, half barrel kegs, yeah, installed ball valves and, you know, the whole works. Built a cart, had them all lined up on there, and we were proud of them. So we had them all polished up, and everybody thought when they came in the garage, when we weren't brewing, we just kind of had them sitting there, and everybody thought they looked like 5 bullet casings lined up, getting ready to be, you know, reloaded. So it took on the name of the Bullet, and then there were 5 of them. So the 5 barrel part didn't really come in until we had looked at the larger systems, because we knew we didn't want to go small. We didn't want to go any smaller than a 5 barrel system. And we had talked to some of our friends who were also brewers and own breweries, and they kind of warned us against going too large too. So we settled on the 5, and from there, I mean, we tossed around every name we could possibly think of in our heads and wrote down thousands in notebooks, and nothing ever seemed to stick. We just kept coming back to the Bullet.
Yeah.
But you know, we added the 5 barrel on just to spice it up a little bit, and that's how the name came about.
Definitely works.
Yeah, we like it.
Yeah.
So going off of the name with how you have 5 barrels in your system, can you explain more about how the system is and what goes on with it?
Yeah, sure. We purchased the system out of off a company out in San Diego, San Francisco. I can't even remember at this point.
Southern California somewhere.
Yeah, and worked with them. I mean, they already had some pre-designed plans that would kind of fit into the layout of the building that we were looking at, and just worked with them. It's a 5 barrel system, so I mean, you're brewing 5 barrels at a time. We have the 2 10-barrel fermenters that we'll double batch into when we want to do a large batch of something. 3 of the 5 barrels. You know, your hot water tank, the hot liquor tank they call it, is 10 barrels, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
So we never have a problem running out of hot water. That's, you know, pretty much the system in a nutshell.
Cool. So did you kind of base your system based off of the building, or kind of vice versa? Did you get the building first and?
We built the building, so we had an idea of both the overall layout that we wanted, with the brewery system being out in the building on display, basically, not separated.
So did you know you wanted to build in New Philly? Or was it kind of just finding lots and stuff like that?
I think we were all in agreement that it pretty much had to be in New Philly. We looked at other buildings here and there. Nothing quite met our needs. Found out that this property actually became available for rent, and we thought it would just be kind of a cool idea, being on the airstrip and everything.
Nice.
And kind of just jumped right in and started trying to make this property work, and ended up building a brand new building on it. So it ended up a little bit bigger of a project than what any of us anticipated at first, but we're kind of glad that we did that now and got it out of the way.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And it came with some other buildings that you've seen around.
Right,
You know, it's got the old turn-of-the-century barn out here that one day will become something. It needs a lot of work inside, so it's not ready for public
Future
use
plans.
yet.
Right.
We also have another large 2-story barn on the side over here. Same thing, it would need a lot of work, but it's, you know, got a lot of potential in the future.
I noticed you guys got a patio. You guys get a lot of use out of that during the summer, spring?
Whenever we first got the property, that was where the original building stood. So we took advantage of having a very large slab of concrete and turned it into our back patio.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty big, but we do a good job of filling it up on the weekends during the summer for sure.
I think a lot of people enjoy it, just, you know, especially these last few years, being outside is a big draw, and add a little bit of live music. a little fire into you see the fireplace
Oh, yeah.
that we saved from the old building. So it's kind of a nice ambiance, atmosphere out
Yeah.
there in the warmer months.
Yeah.
Not especially busy out there in the winter time.
Still very much a work in progress too, so we plan on just upgrading as we go.
Cool.
Yep.
Do you guys have any food at all?
Yes, we actually have a small bar-style food menu. Like a lot of places, we do the hot pretzels with beer cheese. We do pretzel bites with beer cheese and beer mustard. We have some sandwiches on the menu. We have Grandma Zeifer's pizzas here, which is kind of a big draw.
That sounds pretty good.
A legendary place that existed in Dover. Actually, is that New Philly or Dover back in the day?
It's Dover still, I believe.
Yeah, they had closed down quite a few years ago, and we actually hooked up with the family who has the recipe now. So they supply us with the ingredients and shells and whatnot,
Cool.
and we do the rest of the work here. So, but overall, it's got something for everyone. We're not by any means a full course restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever will be.
Right, it's still largely focused on the beer and being
Yeah.
a brewery.
Nothing
None of
wrong
us-
with that.
Yeah, none of us wanted to be a
Keep
restaurant.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it easy and simple, and nail it down, and people will come back.
So now we're at the best part of the episode where we get to try some beer. So what do we got here in this set of 5 here?
Yeah, we all have flights, which are 5 different types of beers. The first one that we have is the Turbulence. It's a West Coast IPA. Has about 6 different types of hops in it, I believe. You'll get a lot more of the actual hop bitterness out of a West Coast as opposed to the East Coast variety.
Where does that come from? You said there's 6 different types of hops in there?
Right, so you'll add hops all at different types or different spots of the boil rather. Depending on when it goes in the boil, whether it's in there for a long time or a short time, will give you different characteristics, whether it's bitterness, flavor, or aroma. Whenever you add late hop addition, you'll get a lot more of the flavor and aroma as opposed to the bitterness in
Okay.
an early addition. And then also there's dry hops where we will add that into the fermenter after the primary fermentation, and that will give it a really, really strong, bright flavor and aroma of the hops.
Okay. Well, there's definitely that in there. That
Yeah.
was great. That was real smooth and definitely had that aroma in there. That was quite tasty.
And one thing we have been doing with this beer, a lot of people that have been here probably noticed over the summer that it was pineapple turbulence.
Mm-hmm.
So we will take this base recipe and experiment with fruiting it, usually during the summer when people are looking for those bright fruity beers.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll do pineapple again, maybe we'll switch it up, who knows? So,
All right. So what's the next one here? Looks like we got a Jolly Balls Christmas Ale.
you want to do that one, Doomer?
Yeah. Christmas ale. It's everybody's favorite around this time of the year. It's a spiced ale. It's got loads of nutmeg, vanilla bean, allspice, ginger, and
Cinnamon.
cinnamon, the
Yeah.
most important ingredient of all. Normally, a lot of people, when you get a pint of it, they like to get the cinnamon sugar rim around it, but I like it just how it is.
You don't need the rim. It's
got
got
enough
plenty of
spices
flavors
in
in there.
there.
You don't need that rim. That's very good.
Yeah.
It's smooth, but got enough mouthful that you're not gonna sit there and chug them down.
Right, right.
And the ABV on it will definitely, you'll definitely feel it.
All right, next what? We got a fruited sour, huh?
Yes, full kettle jacket. It is a kettle sour, meaning you actually spoil the beer
Really?
in the kettle. Yes, so you'll add bacteria to it, which is usually a huge no-no in brewing. But obviously you do it in a controlled way to where you can kill it off before
Is that where
it
that
spreads
sour
everywhere.
taste comes from?
Yeah, so the lactobacillus bacteria will actually produce lactic acid, which is what gives it the sour flavor.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So after you get it to the sour level that you want it to be, you then pick up in your normal brewing process with the boil and basically treat it like any other beer after that. So it'll boil for an hour, hour and a half after the bacteria addition, and then ferment with typical yeast.
That is a very good sour. I as much as I try to get it to sours, I can't, but this one I can. It's very good.
Yeah, it's got loads of passion fruit dumped on top of
Okay.
it. So it's definitely, you got the sweetness battling against the sour. It's just kind of a perfect combination.
It's a nice balance. I like
And
it.
like we were talking about before, it's more of it's the beer for the people who don't like beer. Anybody that comes in here and says, I'm not a beer person, we automatically say, well, try this. And 9 times out of 10, they're ordering a pint of it,
Yeah.
you know?
Cool. So we got a beer menu here, and I see, so we got the IBUs, the ABV, and then there's another column. It's SRM with just one number next to it. What is that?
Okay. Coming on to our stout actually is a good time to bring the SRM up. It is a standard reference method for color of beer.
Okay.
So that way everybody has a universal scale for the most part. There are others. It seems like most people in the United States use the Morey scale. So it's M-O-R-E-Y. Typically goes up to about 40. 40s are like the darkest ones.
And the higher the number,
The higher the number, the darker the
darker
beer.
the beer.
Yes.
The lower the number, the lighter.
Right.
So that one's got to be pretty. Yeah, that's up there.
It's about
You
as
can't-
dark as it gets.
Yeah.
So it'll actually darken up over time.
Let's
too.
see how she tastes.
This is my favorite beer.
Yeah, that's great.
Ever,
That's,
actually.
yeah,
right there.
it is.
I love all the coffee and dark chocolate notes
Yep.
that it gives you. And
Give you that warm feeling.
Yeah, it does. It warms you
yeah.
right up.
Yep, perfect for the cold weather.
we ran out of a lot of our dark beers over the summer, and it's hard to justify doing a dark beer when it's 90 degrees out, because this was a hot summer. But there were people that were upset about it, and me being one of them. I'm glad that it's definitely back in the rotation now.
Yeah, right, right.
And then the last one, still on the topic of SRM, you'll notice that that one does not give you a value.
Oh, no, it does not.
It's because it's fruited. It's hard to basically say that this is a certain color beer whenever it's obviously the color of the fruit that is
Right.
added to
Okay.
it. So this is our Schönbrunn Wild Wheat, by far one of our most popular beers. If anything, I'd say it might even be the flagship. There's a lot of raspberry in there
All
based
right.
off of a wheat beer base.
You can smell it. That's good.
Oh yeah. That's also another one that a lot of people who don't think they like beer end up really
They'll like that
enjoying.
one.
Yeah.
So, well, that about wraps her up for today's episode. I want to thank you,
Mike.
and Justin, for hanging out with us today.
Thank you guys for coming.
Great place to come. Great beers, for sure. I'm sure the food's just as great. So we thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
having us.
Yeah. And we appreciate you guys for coming.
Yep. So thanks again, guys, for hanging out with us. And we are continuing to find the finest beers here in Ohio. Thanks, guys. So we're here with Landon here. What beer are you drinking?
Mothman Revenge.
All right, you like it?
Yeah,
Pretty good?
It's
How is
really
it?
good, yeah.
Okay,
One of my
cool.
favorites.
Cool. First time here, or?
I've been here many times, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite beer? that here?
I
or-
rotate them all the time. I've got a lot of favorites here. So,
Okay,
yeah,
cool, cool.
I try different ones every time I come.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I want to thank you for hanging out with us and talking about some beer.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yep. So we're sitting here with Chloe and Linda, and we're having some beers. So let's see what they're having.
I am having a Simcoe Smash IPA.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm having a sour, the only one they have on tap right now, which is super good.
Yeah. Not a sour guy, but that's a really good sour.
Super good.
Yeah.
Not sweet. Not
Yeah.
sweet at all.
Yeah. It's a good balance.
Yeah, it is good. It's good.
Is this first time coming here?
Hers, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was here last summer playing cornhole out there, so that was a good time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so you've been around when it's good weather,
Yeah.
and is the atmosphere pretty good?
Yeah. It was
Cool.
a busy night when I was here.
Was it?
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Fun times, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
Um,
Her first though.
what's that?
Her first time
Okay.
today.
So is that your only beer you've had here, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We have nachos on the way.
Well, there you go.
They're coming.
Those are good. I've had those.
Have you?
Yep.
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully. All nachos are good.
No one might. They're gonna be really good.
They're good.
Yep. Yep.
Sounds good.
But well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us and
Yeah.
drinking some beer.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, that's it for today's episode here at 5 Barrel Bullet Brewing Company. We tasted some amazing beers and met some great people. I hope you will join us on our next episode of OH-Brew as we are in search for Ohio's finest beers.